Today we're going to do a video on bump stops, kind of a continuation from the sway bar video I did. The bump stops came in, and so what we're going to do is take some measurements before and then after we install them and rest the camper. Right now I have the camper raised, so it's a little moves there, so the truck is, say, stock, and I did find that there is a front sway bar factory. There just wasn't one on the back. So I'll take some measurements before and then after, so that you can see how much it settles with the bump stops on, engaging the overload springs. So let's take some measurements. Okay, so here from the ground to the kind of the rim of the fender, it's 44 inches. On the front, we have 40 and a quarter, I guess. The front shouldn't really change, it'll just be the back. So you can see with no weight on the camper, there's a big space. When I did have the camper set on there, you can see it was rubbing, so they were engaged. And here's the Torklift stable load, they call it. A7200 is the model number. I watched a couple of videos on these, and they showed how if you have a rounded bracket, which I do, you see the bracket there is kind of rounded. Looks like they've done a kind of an upgrade, and they're now attaching or supplying these brackets to kind of cradle that. And I don't think originally they had these, so this is, I would think, kind of an upgrade, I guess, for my situation. So we'll get these on, should be pretty easy, and then we'll take some measurements. Okay, I'll see if I can do this with one hand. They say WD it, which I did. That'll kind of make it easier. I'm just sticking the screwdriver up there, and trying to do this one hand is not easy. There, so I put it in, turn it like that. That seems to be working. There you go, it's off. One hand, so that's not bad. Now we'll put this bracket on, so it's gonna not really a tight fit, but maybe it goes like that. Okay guys, ran into a little snag. This is called an anti-rock bracket. So if you put it in here, you can see it still rocks. The bracket is, or these tabs are hitting the bracket here, so it can't bolt up tight. So what I did was I just cut the tabs off, the Sawzall, just like that. So now it bolts up tight. Don't know if I affected anything negatively, but it goes up tight, and that's the intent. The rock, once I tighten it up, shouldn't be any rock, and I can center it nice now. Yeah, so we'll continue on. Okay, one's installed. I just went flush with the end of the bracket right here. Anti-roll flush, and that kind of centers on the leaf spring. So tightens up good, looks okay. So 3 more to go. Hey, here's a little tip for the back one. The back part of the overload is up higher. I couldn't get the bump stop in, so I used this same press here that I used for the sway bar, and it worked well to compress the spring so I could get it in. So you're gonna need a little C-clamp or something to squish it. You can see it's a lot tighter here, so it's obviously going to engage quicker than the front. The front has a bigger opening. So another little tip for you, I guess. Okay, so we're done, and it works out to 40, let's say 41 3/4. Yeah, about 41 3/4. Front shouldn't really have changed. The front is 40.5. So we're just slightly higher in the back, which is what I wanted. I wanted to be level or slightly higher. So I think we achieved that. As you can see, it looks, to me, it looks the way it should. Yeah, just slightly higher in the back. You can see it between the wheel well and the tire, it looks a little higher than the front. The distance there is, I can measure that. So this distance from there to the tire is about 7.5. And this distance here, there in the tire, that's about not 8 3/4. So anyway, it all looks good. You can see they're fully engaged, so the springs will start working as soon as I start driving. There's the back one. See, it sits pretty flat. And it might settle a little bit from driving and just settling in. The only, say, negative thing of raising it is now my step is pretty high. So that distance is, say, roughly 20.5 inches. So that's a big step. So I bought a 3-step right there, which it does hang down lower. I think the 3-step would actually be perfect, but it doesn't quite bolt up, so I'd have to make a bracket for it to bolt up. So that may be another project, but this one is done and ready to go camping this weekend. Going to Hornby Island, on another island from Vancouver Island. So we'll show you that place. Supposed to be pretty nice. Never been there before. So that's basically the suspension upgrades done. Thanks for watching.